Since the 30th of March, I've uploaded 31 videos. On every single one of those videos, I have received an unholy amount of comments that all, pretty much, say the same thing. We're thrust straight into a ship battle in 1715, and it's wetter than a British teenager when she finds out a guy owns a Vauxhall Corsa, lives off the dole, and sells coke on the side. We take control of Edward Kenway, who, in case you didn't know, is actually the grandfather of Connor, the main protagonist from Assassin's Creed 3. I don't blame you if you didn't know that, as playing Assassin's Creed 3 was about as fun as using all your likes on Tinder, but not getting any matches. Make that day number 432. An assassin then boards our ship, with absolutely no consent, may I add, and we both get blown overboard into the sea. Maybe this wouldn't have happened if he had had some basic manners and at least asked to board the ship first. Maybe the world could be a slightly better place if pirates were just a little bit more polite and actually asked before taking things. No, Mr. Somali pirate, you cannot kidnap my child. However, offer me 100 grand and a compliment to boost my self-esteem, and we maybe have a deal on our hands. We wash up onto a nearby island, like that movie Castaway, starring Tom Hanks. Fortunately for us, the assassin also washes up on the same island, so if worse comes to worse, we won't have to lower ourselves to the level of Tom Hanks and have intercourse with volleyballs. The assassin says he needs to get to Havana and offers us 100 gold to get a new ship and take him there. Just when you think they're using actual human negotiation skills, he then whips out the pistol and completely breaks the trust that he built over the last 15 seconds. I haven't seen trust deteriorate this quickly since when I broke up with my ex-girlfriend because she made me a PB&J sandwich using crunchy peanut butter. Like, if you're gonna betray my trust, at least do something that wouldn't traumatize me for the rest of my life, like sleep with my best friend, or tell me that our love was built on a lie. I still to this day cannot bite into a PB&J sandwich without having severe PTSD flashbacks. I run after the assassin, and this really just reminds me of when you're out on a late night walk and you see a girl walking home all by herself. So out of the common decency of your heart, you decide to run after her and make sure that she gets home safely. This, however, usually turns into a small fun little game as the girl sprints away from you in order to not let you catch her. And even when you arrive at her house and bang on the door 50 times in order to try and get her number because there was clearly some chemistry there, they still ignore you because girls like playing the long game. Tonight will be the 3rd week in a row that I'll be chasing her home, so hopefully, 3rd time's the charm. The mission then changes from a chase to a kill mission, and well, he wasn't a very good assassin, as we trip him over easier than a child walking past you on the street, and defeat him with one foul swoop of our dual-wielding swords. I hold the assassin in my arms for a little bit because I haven't seen the wife in a few months and I was just craving the feel of a real human body. I feel something stiff digging me in the leg and my initial thoughts are that he's still alive and slightly aroused, but unfortunately it's just a small pyramid made of glass in his bag. Along with this is a letter from a guy whose name is way too Spanish for me to pronounce.
Su más humilde servidor, el gobernador Laureano Torres y Ayala.
Instructing the assassin, known as Duncan, to deliver this mysterious glass object to him in Havana. Having now taken on the identity of Duncan, we had to start doing assassin things, like making our way to high ground and observing the landscape like it would actually do anything useful. Unfortunately as well, assassins are noble people, so we had to save this chubby British guy from a bunch of red coat boys. If you guys know me, you know I find it quite hard to be a good guy in video games. So as you can imagine, resisting the temptation to go and get that ship and beach it on top of him was actually quite difficult. We learn that the chubby British guy is actually called Steed, and it's clear by the way he handles himself that when growing up, he lacked a strong male figure in his life. He does however have a ship and is also travelling to Havana. So, as we saved his life, he is now returning the favour by letting us pilot his ship. He however does not own a rowboat, which means that we have to swim all the way to the ship. So you know, if he keeps up this kind of behaviour, he won't be winning any Friend of the Year awards anytime soon. Not that I have any other friends anyway right now, as they all got blown up on the previous ship, but that's emotional trauma that I'm not willing to tackle just yet. So now it was time for everybody's favourite thing about this game, and my least favourite thing about this game, sailing. Now look, I know that's more controversial than saying that Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire, But when I said I didn't like Assassin's Creed 4 that much, I got so many questions, and this is one of the main reasons. Sailing and ship combat to me always just feels so awkward, boring, forced, and just completely out of place. These early Assassin's Creed games undeniably have a lot of Assassin's Creed jank, as I like to codename it. So for me, when sailing, it's when this Assassin's Creed jank becomes most obvious in this game. It feels unfinished, and there has never come a point when I've been playing this game that I've thought to myself, oh yeah, I'd really like to get in the ship. So as you can imagine, I'm extremely grateful that this game doesn't make you sail all the way to Havana. I really do think that this game has aged pretty badly, and I'm not just saying that to be controversial. However, I am replaying it because everybody wanted to see it, and I wanted to give it a second chance. So, the first thing we have to do upon arriving in Havana is a follow mission. For fuck's sake. I'm supposed to believe that this is the best Assassin's Creed. I get my enjoyment by watching this guy not be able to figure out how to get whatever he needs that's on top of this pile, and then just flex on him real quick by climbing on the top of the entire thing and not even getting it down for him. These women attempt to seduce me with moves that are more confusing than arousing, but to be honest, I'm interested in a different kind of pussy. I climb to the top of this high point because I'm an assassin now, and I get reminded of how janky and horrible the parkour feels in this game. But before we can even finish our synchronization, Steed gets robbed of the delivery he was carrying. The game told me to catch and loot the thief, but I knew I had more follow missions coming up, so I just let out all of my anger right here. Good for me, you know. Rather than letting it all build up inside me, I just let it all out on this one guy who was probably actually only robbing money because he needed to feed his family. We arrive at a bar where some English guys recognise me as Edward, and unfortunately we cannot have Steed knowing this, as we told him we was Duncan on a super secret top mission to go and see the king. Edward isn't the kind of guy to solve these situations by asking them out for coffee to explain the entire thing, so instead we just have to lay out every single one of them. Unfortunately, another downfall I think this game has is that the combat is way too easy. You can counter someone, get on a streak, and just start one-hitting all the enemies. Especially coming off something like Unity, which in my opinion has the best combat system. A good mix of challenge but satisfaction. Coincidentally, that's also how I like my women. Everyone knows that if a woman's too easy, then there's a high chance of her sleeping with her own stepdad and then calling you toxic. I escape the Spanish guards and decide that I've had quite a tough few days, so I pay these women to sleep with me, to only find out that they don't actually sleep with you, they just follow you and let you blend in with them. I was pretty bummed out that I would actually have to talk to a woman now to sleep with them, but I was determined to get my value for money, so I entertained myself by getting all up in this guy's personal space, breathing down his neck until he eventually edged himself off into the water. I keep on doing this because I'm getting entertainment out of it, and now I can finally see where school bullies are coming from. When you're hurting on the inside, projecting that pain onto someone else rather than dealing with it head on is actually a really good coping mechanism. Steed's sugar and Edward's maps were all confiscated by the Spanish guards, and because we're British, we literally are just too ignorant to learn another language, so we have no way of communicating with them. So what do we do instead, you ask? We do an absolutely exhilarating tail mission, a staple of the Assassin's Creed franchise, one which everyone loves. Not only did I have to suffer through this tail mission, I also had to do it twice, because I got what I can only describe as Assassin's Creeded. I attempt to land on a ladder, miss the ladder, and then spend the next few seconds trying to get back on the ladder. But because this game has a great parkour system, I fail the mission as it takes me too long to get back on the ladder. As you can imagine, knowing that I had to replay this tail mission, I wanted to find this game's creator, do burnouts on his front lawn, and then dropkick his nan. And yes, I am assuming gender, saying him, not her, because the recent stuff that's come out about Ubisoft would suggest that they didn't let women get to too many high places. However, I'd consider myself lucky, as when I got done with the tail mission, it was straight into eavesdropping, another staple of the Assassin's Creed franchise, which is an absolutely thrilling mission style that we all know and love. I then, once again, have to tail someone, but this time I have to tail a captain and pickpocket him. Honestly, I'm so numb at this point that Bill Cosby would probably be aroused. I finally managed to pickpocket the captain, then go and watch B-Movie real quick so I remember what it's like to feel something other than pain, and then made my way into a fort. With this game's parkour mechanics, that once again reminded me that the only thing I feel is pain. I do, however, manage to find my little glass pyramid, and also Steed's sugar, but we'll leave Steed's sugar for another time as I haven't really got anything to carry it with. And now that we had this glass pyramid back, we were free to go and visit the guy with the really long Spanish name and finally see what Duncan was up to. Hopefully, if you're one of the people that questions me as to why I don't like this game, I answered it in this video. I hold nothing against you if you do, I just personally don't really enjoy it. If you do want to see me experience more pain though, be sure to let me know by supporting the video. A big thank you as always to those of you who have clicked the join button and become a member of the channel. I really appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. I just want to give a huge shout out to my motherload Voiy Boys and above, Gerardo Cruz, Wolves of Valhalla, Björn van den Hatter, Charlie Waldock, Ghost Warrior 38 and Voiy is Gay. Thank you for your support.